Hello, and thank you for joining me today. Today we are going to do a fun and easy little abstract painting. It's really simple. It will only use 3 colors, 2 brushes, and some masking tape. So my 2 colors that I'm using today, I have my phthalo blue over here and my phthalo green. I love using these 2 colors together because they look really pretty when they're blended as well as side by side. So let's go ahead and get started. So I'm grabbing one brush. It's kind of use this as my utility brush. So I want to just lay the paint down for my first layer. So I'm going to wet the brush. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab some phthalo green first. And you can see my brush is still fairly wet, and I'm okay with that because I really want for this layer to just get the paint down on the canvas and really get into the teeth of the canvas so I don't have a bunch of little white spots in the middle. And this is just our first layer, so we just want to get a nice solid color down and work with that first. So once I have some green down, I'm going to go into my phthalo blue. I didn't rinse my brush. It still has the green on it, but that's okay because I like the colors blended together as well. They look really nice. And so I'm just going to go over all the canvas with my color. If you need more water, you can dip your brush again. Go back into my green, fill in some green here in the middle. I think I'm going to add a little bit more water to my brush. Kind of let it drain on the side. So that way it's still got a lot of water in it, but not too much. I'm going to grab some more phthalo blue. Get the middle here. And anywhere you see any blank spots or where the canvas is showing through, just go over with your brush again. Make sure you get every spot. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay my brush down and I'm going to go grab a tissue. And so to add some interest to this first layer, I'm just going to scrunch up my tissue and then I'm just going to dab on the canvas. And you'll see now we still have the color everywhere, but there's some interest where we've dabbed. And you'll want to rotate your wrist and arm a little bit so that way you don't end up with the same shape all throughout. Fill in any holes that you might have missed. All right, so that is our first layer. Now what you're going to want to do is just go ahead and let the canvas dry, and then we will add our second layer. So I will see you in a moment. All right, now that our canvas is dry, we can go ahead and add our second layer. So I'm sticking with the same colors of the phthalo green and the phthalo blue. I'm just going to wet my brush again. And just like we did for the first layer, I'm going to do the exact same thing. So I'm going to lay some color down. And to make it interesting, where you see you have green, you might go over with blue, or go over with blue where you see the green. We're just going to lay it down. All right, so for this layer, you want to make sure that your canvas is completely dry because we are going to be laying down our masking tape. And if the canvas is still wet at all, the tape could potentially pull up your pigment, or it might also prevent the tape from sticking. So I made sure my canvas is nice and dry. And so now what I'm going to do is start laying some tape down just in some random ways across the canvas. All right, so once we have our tape on and nice and flat, I'm now going to grab some Mars Black. And I'm going to grab my little flat. And so we are going to start laying some shadow on our canvas. All right, so once we have all of the parts covered with our thin layer of black, we're now going to go in and add another layer of black closest to the tape. And what that's going to do is really make that section closest to the tape look further away. And so we just want to lay that down. And then kind of blend that in. All right, and so once we're done adding some darkness to our corners, the pieces that we want to pull a little bit away from the brightness of the color, then we are good. So now we can go ahead and pull up our tape and see what we have. And if your paint is still wet, you'll want to be careful when you pull up the tape because it will still have color on the tape and it will get all over you. Oh, it's already looking fun. Also helps to remember what order you put the tape down in or close to by looking at the layers, and that way you're not pulling up anything that shouldn't be pulled up yet. All right, so here's our fun little abstract painting. I hope you had fun, and if you like what you see, I hope that you click like and subscribe. Thank you for joining me today.